Hey, LeBron, Ben Simmons is here. We're all good.
With Tyreek Hill.
Right now!
And stop it! It
Right
is
now!
my turn.
You going back?
You can book it. And they should be. And they should.
You picked the Bengals.
I told you I'm not gonna pick them anymore. Don't give me that baloney.
Does Josh Rosen, do they have the mental and physical qualities necessary to make the National Football League leap? Absolutely.
Hey, time out. It is my turn.
We all know that Bronny James is in the NBA because of his dad.
I'm better than you.
In the NBA today, 3 games separate 3rd place and 8th place in the Western Conference. The Cavs are having the best season in franchise history thanks to unsung heroes like DeAndre Hunter silently being the engine to make this team run. Norman Powell and Tyler Hero are having career-defining seasons. The Kings and Suns are battling for last slot in the play-in tournament despite them having 7 all-star caliber players between them. And some of the most lucrative contracts in basketball. The Jazz are the 6th youngest team in the NBA that has great developing pieces and are the current #1 odds of landing Cooper Flag. Oh, and the #1 youngest team? That happens to go to the Thunder, who are en route for one of the best regular seasons in the history of basketball. This is the illustrious, bustling state of the NBA as it stands today, and meanwhile, this is what sports media accounts look like across all platforms. Every day I question why all of these big-name companies like ESPN, Bleacher Report, House of Highlights, and Barstool Sports never touch on the genuine nuances of basketball during the NBA season, opting to instead post about the Lakers and the most popular teams and players every waking moment, or just flat out posting clips not related to basketball whatsoever. And this isn't just an NBA thing, this happens during every season of sports. The state of sports media on social media is dead, which is concerning when considering that social media is how a vast majority of casual sports fans consume their content on a sport. And I'm constantly seeing people complain about this issue, and today I'm going to show you that the answer actually falls under one much deeper cut issue with the state of the NBA and journalism as a whole. But first I have to ask you to all subscribe, because 99% of you aren't subscribed, and I mean, come on. I get like most of you might not be into weekly sports content at high quality production value, but 99% of you aren't? Really? So if that sounds like something you do like, then please go ahead and subscribe. It helps infinitely more than you can know, and let's get right into the video. To start this video off, which will mainly be focused about sports media content on social media, since that is the current #1 market for connecting audiences to sports because everyone is on their phones 24/7, I want to quickly cover the nature of analysts, reporters, and sports personalities. Since the inception of journalism, it is clear that all that matters for these reporters to keep their job is to provoke reaction and engagement from their audience, better known today as clip farming or rage bait. The only way people like Stephen A. Smith, Collin Cowherd, and Nick Wright stay in business is by creating these viral moments that get people to flock to their shows. It's not about providing legit coverage or even being good at their job at making takes and analyzing a sport. I've seen Collin Cowherd make some of the most brain-dead takes in sports history, and this man is still raking in millions at the top of the game year after year.
You want to know who won the draft? The teams that got franchise quarterbacks. Arizona got a kid as good as Josh Rosen at number 10.
And it's not like these were crazy takes from him at the time at all. Matter of fact, all of them are routinely making these same exact bold takes. Every analyst. Exciting takes for exciting young players to get people excited. They are employed to simply build hype and draw viewership, so they call everyone the next GOAT, and sometimes that take turns out valid, other times you get a Josh Rosen clip. And with the rise of social media, we have seen these personalities of TV being laid off one by one as the shift towards social media has begun. And what does that shift look like? Well, to say the least, it's complete garbage. We've already seen this taking effect on well-known sports personalities. Chad Ochocinco and Shannon Sharpe shows and podcast clips are hilarious, but they don't stay afloat by talking about what the Steelers are plotting shipping off Fields and Russ this offseason, or how Ovechkin just broke the goals record, but rather by talking about, well,
where we were in action, and she said in my ear, "Go deeper. Stay with me now." And what hurt me is I was already all the way in.
This is what happened. We were having sex.
Yeah, I don't even know anymore. And then you got guys like Stephen A. Smith. Love the guy, but he is the king of rage bait. So much so that now he's rage baiting the king. He is currently reinventing methods of clout chasing, literally clout chasing whilst being the #1 name in sports media. And the reason him and LeBron are even beefing? Because in order to keep his job, Stephen A. Smith has to talk about Bronny, who was and is the hottest topic of discussion in the NBA. Is Bronny even remotely a top 200 player in the league? Absolutely not. But why talk about guys like Alex Sarr, star Zachary Rees-Sachet, the underperforming tops of the class like Reed Shepherd, when you can instead be talking about LeBron's son and get all of the clips and all of the attention. Like I said, every employed analyst is making the same takes over and over and over, and people are getting tired of it. Teams and companies now have to adjust to the scope of social media too, becoming the ultimate most devolved form of clipping culture. And while at first they actually tried to push sports media for their respective franchises, now it's just become any old social media account. If your team has virtually no stars and virtually no big market attention, your media team has to resort to desperate measures. Take the Brooklyn Nets. I'm sure we're all familiar, one of the most popular TikTok accounts around a pro team. No one cares about the Brooklyn Nets. Not even the Brooklyn Nets care about the Brooklyn Nets. The only way their media team has stayed afloat is by literally shit posting and avoiding actual Brooklyn Nets content. They just keep up with the trends. They don't build viewership. Their concern is keeping their job rather than actually pushing the sport, pushing their athletes, and building something tangible. But I get this. I mean, the NBA is a star-driven league, and when you lack star power, you just have to make things work. People really don't give a shit about upcoming teams and players. They'd rather look at memes and players that are trending and engage with that instead. I've even seen this on my own videos. I'll talk about the stars and big conversations around the league and get 40,000 views. But when I post about a less popular but really solid team like the Houston Rockets, less than 500 people even bother clicking on it. The problem isn't really the fault of these big media companies. They're simply catering to the algorithm, or rather what people want to see. That being said, there is a crossable line of taking things too far, and some companies have absolutely done that. By far, the most egregious examples are the House of Highlights and Barstool Sports. These accounts absolutely suck, and I despise them. They embody everything that is wrong with sports media and the internet age we're currently in. All these companies do online, especially on the most popular short-form style of platforms, is regurgitate popular videos and steal content in order to grow their following. These companies are absolute leeches, provide absolutely nothing to the platform they're on, give the creators zero compensation and recognition. Hell, sometimes they don't even give them credit for their own videos, and their existence is just a black hole. House of Highlights at least tries to sometimes integrate sports content into their posts, but mostly just devolves into stealing popular videos. But Barstool Sports is just completely off the rails, a literal clip account garnering so much money and 40 million followers simply for the blue check recognition that Barstool has, and it sucks. That being said, there's absolutely nothing we can do. All they're doing is simply making a quick buck in the most efficient way possible, and while companies like House of Highlights try and intermix these videos, Barstool Sports doesn't even have an ounce of shame. Is this a niche issue? Yes, but it has implications on the totality of sports media going forward. No one is tuning into these ESPN shows while they're on air to cover upcoming teams and player situations anymore. They spend time watching TikToks and catching up on their favorite players and sports and teams on apps like Reel. Great app, by the way. So when companies are forced to adjust to the scope of modern media, it's clear that the best option for views is the most popular players in a star-driven league, and so on comes the wave of clip after clip after clip of LeBron and Steph, constant bombardment of what the Lakers are up to and how Austin Reeves is the greatest hidden gem in the league rather than focusing on the state of the entire league. Flourishing players like Norman Powell and Tyler Hero making career leaps, or teams like the Rockets and Pistons having incredible underrated seasons. Well, actually, you'd be surprised to find out they do post that stuff. This is a video from ESPN covering the Pistons' meteoric rise this season. It got 8,002 likes. This is a clip of LeBron catching a lob posted that same night. It got 60.5 thousand likes. The problem isn't the lack of companies posting this stuff. The problem is the lack of audience reception. To make money, they have to cater to the casual to non-NBA fans that make up 99% of the platform, despite delivering their content to that niche. And when they try to branch out and provide genuine coverage of the league, the response is, well, nothing. No one cares. And so the reason behind why NBA media online is pretty much dry and dead isn't because of a lack of coverage, but mostly because they have to do what they have to do to make a profit. This type of content is only profitable on YouTube with great channels like Swish Out, Jimmy High Roller, Full Court Dash, Alex Hoops, and not to toot my own horn, but YouTube is a platform for actual discussion, longer form content, and so you can still make a profit off of genuine media coverage because people on this platform have a higher tolerance to long form media and are even looking for that kind of content. And the reason why in-depth NBA coverage works on only long-form platforms where people are searching and actively looking for that kind of content is because, well, no one watches basketball anymore. That's it. I said it. No one watches the NBA. Now, what do I mean by this? Of course, millions watch the NBA every single day. Well, what I mean is that the NBA ratings are falling off a cliff, and that isn't the fault of the average NBA fan. That's at fault of the NBA making it impossible to watch a game. The NBA struggles to attract viewers because only the older fans, which isn't the majority by the way, go through the trouble of watching via cable, making the NBA the least cable subscribed major American league. And the younger fans get their information from box scores and clips because it's impossible to watch an NBA NBA game for a smaller market team as an average young smaller market fan without going on Stream East. So the NBA can't garner any attention from their smaller market teams despite great players and winning teams falling under those categories. That being said, the NBA dominates the clip game. They run Twitter, they run TikTok because they've got the most exciting highlights and the largest pool of fans willing to watch. And I'm not yelling at you, it's not your fault, it's Adam Silver's fault because he needs to adapt. He directly needs to conform to the modern ways of having a streaming platform or one consistent place to watch all of your favorite team's games and or subscription service that is finally a reality. Then and only then will we receive the coverage that we deserve for blossoming players and teams around the league. The NBA is suffering from an all-time lack of interest and a harsh era transition as all the viewership pullers like KD, LeBron, and Curry are about to retire. So if they want to properly set up the next generation and garner engagement for them, who they definitely have the talent to keep all that attention, all they have to do is just make it a little bit easier to, I don't know, maybe watch basketball. In the meantime, I'll enjoy my pirated, brain-numbing content on Barstool Sports. Subscribe, it's free.